eyes that looked bigger than ever in her narrow face. Her mouth gave her away every time. It was pale, vulnerable, and she couldn't remember the last time she smiled. She stared at that lost face, then stuck out her tongue at her solemn reflection. Then she turned away, flicking off the light. She should call Sybil. The one piece of modern technology she'd kept when she'd gotten rid of her stereo and television paraphernalia was the answering machine. And like the bedroom lamp, it was kept on at all times. She was terrified that Randall would call, that she'd be forced to face her doubts and a truth that was unacceptable, and that rage would take over. A rage so deep and blinding that she'd never recover from it. But as the weeks and months passed and he made no effort to contact her, she began to relax. But not enough to turn off the machine and answer her phone. Sybil had called sometime during the night, her wonderful British actress's voice rich with drama and the perfect note of suppressed terror. The message had been wonderfully cryptic, and Maggie had listened to it with a shade of her old tolerant amusement. "Maggie, darling, something very odd is going on here. Something's not quite right with Flynn. And I'm getting nervous. I need you. Can you fly out here tomorrow morning? I'm afraid this might be serious." Without another word, the phone had clicked off, and Maggie had smiled, reset the machine, and gone to bed. She could guess what wasn't quite right with Flynn, Sybil's latest lover. Sybil had grown tired of him, probably found someone newer and younger, and wanted Maggie's help in getting rid of him. It had happened before, more than once. Sybil was a romantic butterfly, flitting from man to man, always loath to clean up the emotional mess she left behind. Always hoping one of her ever-helpful daughters would take care of it. Tim Flynn was merely the latest in a long line of handsome young men. Not that Maggie ever met him. As far as she knew, no one had. Sybil liked to keep her young men under wraps, with nothing to distract their attention from her mature charms. But with Tim Flynn, it had been excessive. They'd gone underground during the past few months, and no one had been allowed to interfere with their idol. Sybil would call every now and then and make mysterious references to the IRA, references Maggie took with a grain of salt. He was probably a boozy soccer player whose father had once thrown a rock at a British soldier. Sybil's fantasy world was harmless, but well-established. Well, she could wait. This latest trauma had to be a new melodrama she was acting out, and she could rid herself of her soccer player without Maggie coming to the rescue. She was tired of bailing her family out. She still needed time to pull herself together, to marshal her strength and calm until the memory of Randall Carter produced not even a flicker of emotion. She was getting close, but she wasn't there yet. Already her palms were getting damp with remembered anger. She needed to work out some of the lingering tendrils of rage, and she knew exactly how to do it. There were advanced classes starting in less than an hour at the 83rd Street School of Self-Defense, and if she could find a taxi in the pre-Christmas rush, she'd make it. Grabbing her bag, she headed for the door, stopping for a moment when she heard the soft murmur of the phone ringing. The answering machine clicked on, and Maggie reached for the door, determined to ignore it. But something held her there, some last tiny bit of curiosity. And as the machine clicked again, she heard the flat California accent with something close to dread. "This is Lieutenant Miller of the Los Angeles Police Department. We're trying to find Maggie Bennett." "How long are you going to be?" Kate Zimmerman McAllister sat on the edge of her sister Holly's silk-covered chaise longue and glared at the serenely beautiful reflection in the huge mirror. Holly's aquamarine eyes met her sister's plain brown ones in the mirror, and she smiled calmly. "As long as it takes me," she replied, her voice low and musical, and a perfect compliment to her face. "As long as it takes you to do what?" Kate snapped. "You're already gorgeous enough." Holly picked up a slender mink brush and began to sketch a careful line of smoky blue above her luxuriant eyelashes. "In my profession, no one is ever gorgeous enough, Kate." "Profession," Kate scoffed. "You have a decent mind, a good education, and more ability than most people. Why the hell do you waste your time being a model?" "Not just a model, Katie dear. I'm the best," she said simply. "You mean the highest paid?" "No, the best." "Aren't you a little long in the tooth for living by your looks?" "You're 27. Pretty soon lines will start to form." "I already have lines, Kate. They add character." She gave her sister a sudden mischievous grin. "Don't worry about my future, sister dear. I'll do just fine." "It's such a waste," Kate wailed. "Maybe I think making lightweight little movies is a waste," she replied tranquilly. "Maybe I think you and Caleb should quit."